Can you leave? Okay. No. He's like, this is where I'm sitting, so this is Gatsby's show now. He's like, I'm Gatsby. This is not the Bandwagon. I'm Hannah Kaiser, and this is the Bandwagon. Last week, we previewed the first round of the postseason that should not, but was called the Wild Card Series, giving you one reason to root for all 16 teams that made it, and thankfully, half of them are already gone. There were some surprises. Like, we learned that the curse that turns the Twins into weak shells of the regular season selves does not actually start on October 1st, but in fact, backdates to the beginning of the playoffs, even if they're in September. Even if you hated the expanded field in theory, you should be excited about the division series it wrought, in part because it's never been a more apt name. This year, all 4 matchups pit division rivals against one another, and that's after a regular season in which teams only played regional opponents. And nobody gets on your nerves quite like the relatives you know and love and have been stuck with for months on end in quarantine. All 4 series are going to be spicy and full of tons of talent, and today we're going to talk about why each one has the potential to be the best division series ever. Woo there. Yeah, woo there. Yeah. First up, Astros vs. A's. Currently, Mike Fiers and the former team he exposed for cheating their way to a World Series championship are quarantining at the same hotel near Dodger Stadium, the site of their most infamous victory. He's probably going to pitch against them, too, for the first time since blowing the whistle. The Astros upset both the higher-seeded Twins and probably a whole bunch of other people by advancing this far, and they know it.
I know a lot of people are mad. I know a lot of people don't want to see us here. But what are they going to say now?
If I had to guess, probably something along the lines of, we hate you, or maybe something stronger. The Astros are trying to demonstrate that they can hit without knowing what pitch is coming, which they definitely did not do during the regular season. They all had like the worst offensive numbers. And I'm not sure they proved much of anything in a couple of heartbreakingly close victories over a team that made crucial errors, but hey, that's something to watch for now, especially as they go up against the team that has been forced into second place and the single wildcard game playoff in recent years by the Astros' seemingly unstoppable success. The A's were 7-3 against the Astros in the regular season this year, which is the first time they've had a winning season series against Houston since, well, long before 2017, which is the thing that really matters. It was 2014, if you care. And I know everyone hates those in-game interviews with players who are presumably trying to focus on their most important day at the office this year, but come on! This was what Ramon Laureano had to say about an opposing player that he seems to actually really like and respect.
Jimenez rips one.
Got it. Damn, he could wrong.
Somebody make sure he gets his 11 hours of sleep at night because I want Laureano mic'd up and feeling good the entire series. Did you see this quote? It was like, Ramon Laureano was like, I hate these early start times. I gotta be up at what, 7? So now I gotta go to sleep at what, 7? And it's like, no. Let's do Yankees versus Rays. I promise not to make every one of these matchups about the beef, and the Yankees and Rays promise not to bring any of the hard feelings from the regular season into the division series, unless, of course, the other guy does first. But we're talking about a Rays team that had shirts and hats made up to show off their retaliatory beanball threats. Not that the Yankees care or anything.
Shirts and hats, that doesn't mean anything.
Giancarlo Stanton, you would say that. Last week, the Rays made sweeping the baby Blue Jays look like a piece of celebratory cupcake. They can't have champagne in the clubhouse this postseason. Blake Snell took a no-hitter into the 6th inning, and Nick Anderson continued to show who's the best reliever in the bigs this year. And they will need all that shutdown pitching and more, which is where their maddeningly successful bullpen management will probably come into play against the Yankees, who remain incredibly on brand, like crazy on brand. The Bronx Bombers hit 7 home runs over 2 games in the first round, including Aaron Judge's first homer since he came back from injury off the presumptive AL Cy Young Award winner, and Stanton's first 2 home runs since an end-of-season slump following his IL stint. The Rays' dominance in the regular season this year skews what has been a historic David and Goliath story between the franchise that's always talking about their 27 rings and the one still fighting for its first ever. Both teams can tell themselves they're the underdog in this matchup of the AL's top seed and the literal Yankees. Braves and Marlins. As everyone knows, the Miami Marlins are the most historically dominant postseason team. Really? The numbers don't lie. Admittedly, this year's club faced an uphill battle after losing 105 games in 2019 and then 18 players to a COVID-19 outbreak that sidelined the entire team for a week. But a little adversity isn't going to shake the confidence of a group of guys that proudly wears matching bottom feeder shirts in the same summer WAP was released. Even without any help from overeager fans, the Marlins were able to oust the Cubs at Wrigley last week, thanks to Sixto Sanchez pitching cool, calm, and collected 5 shutout innings just 40 days after making his major league debut, and this hypnotizingly perfect play at the plate that I would hang on my wall if that was a thing you could do with gifts. We should do that with gifts. It is really almost unfair to send these Poseidons of October to face off against the Braves, who lost 9 postseason series in a row dating back to 2002 before Max Fried and Ian Anderson held the Reds scoreless in a sweep. Told you they couldn't hit. The Braves will need more than 2 pitchers to get through a 5-game series without any off days. But if they do, I'm sure they'll have a whole mental scrapbook to remember it by. When you hit as many home runs as Marcell Ozuna does, you might get bored of just running the bases normally. Enter the celebratory pseudo-selfie. It looks like his teammates thought it was as cool as all of baseball Twitter did, which I hope means we'll get pantomime posing for Daguerreotype portraits when they hit a homer again. It was the second most exciting display of power by a member of the extended Braves universe this past week. I'll stop talking about Charlie Freeman when he stops being the most interesting person in Major League Baseball. Padres versus Dodgers. Whether you want the Dodgers to finally break through and realize their postseason potential as the clear best team in baseball, or you want to see them sense their waning window in the form of a legitimate contender just like an hour-and-a-half south, this is the series for you. The top 2 records in the National League will match up now, and that also means as many as 5 games featuring both Mookie Betts and Fernando Tatis Jr. on the same field. It does not get any better than that. Clayton Kershaw's Hall of Fame stuff, plus an extra mile per hour this year, overcame the weight of a convenient narrative and his manager's attempt to take him out of the game, to throw 8 scoreless innings as the Dodgers pitched a shutout against the Brewers to advance. Then again, 9 relatively anonymous San Diego relievers also threw a shutout in a winner-go-home game against the Cardinals last week. 4 of them pitched 3 days in a row. The Padres' prodigious offense steals the spotlight, and rightfully so. I mean, Tatis is 21 years old, and with the help of Will Myers, already in an exclusive club with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig as the only pairs of teammates in baseball history to hit 2 home runs each in a postseason game. They did this 88 years apart to the day. And if that doesn't give you goosebumps, maybe Tatis's bat flip will. It's a shame the Babe only flipped his bat on walks. But it's honestly incredible that their pitching even survived a series without Mike Clevenger or Dinelson Lamet. They'll need them back this round if the Padres are going to seriously challenge the Dodgers for NL dominance, and I want that. But I also want to see Jake Cronenworth take his 2A abilities to the big stage and pitch an inning or 2 if they don't have any other pitchers.
Let him pitch.
Plus, no other series right now has $300 million riding on it.
Manny, congrats! With that big of a contract, you've got 10 Octobers off now. Come on, you could have had it all with LA.
It's my contract. We'll win a World Series before you guys do.
Seriously, though, what if Manny called it? That would be very embarrassing for the Dodgers. So that is our overview of this week's division series. I did not pick teams to root for, which does not mean that I don't have deep-rooted internal biases. For example, I will be rooting for A's, Rays, Marlins, Padres. Hopefully, those will be the teams we are talking about next week in the Championship Series preview.
And the TV executives hurl themselves off buildings.